Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Wild World podcast. My name is Thomas. I'm the voice from the videos, and I'm joined with my co-host Mika.
Hi.
Hello, and this is a podcast all about wildlife and animals, really. We talk about zoology, we talk about paleontology, and of course some cryptozoology. But first, I guess I'll ask, is there anything, or has there been anything on your wildlife radar in the last week or so?
Well, I've had a pretty wild week, so
Do tell.
maybe you could start.
Me? Okay. I have not had as wild a week. I was walking my dog the other day, just a little bit down the road, and I saw a little movement just beside a hedge. I was like, oh, let's go over and look at what cute animal that could be. And I saw some fur and fluff. And I thought it was a little rabbit, so I got a bit closer. But then when it scurried away and I saw its long tail, it was actually a big rat. So that was interesting.
Oh, I was hoping for a badger or something.
No, it was way too small to be a badger.
Oh well, rats are cool.
Yeah.
Did it look sort of scrawny?
No, it looked sort of plump. It was doing well, that rat.
All right. Well, for me, I've been seeing a lot of wildlife and animals lately. Around my house right now are a bunch of red-winged blackbirds.
Cool.
Do you know them?
No.
Well, they're blackbirds with a little red wing patch.
Okay.
They're very nice. And the prairie dogs just had babies.
Oh, wow.
The babies are out. Like, maybe they had them a while ago, but now the babies are coming out for the first time. And you can see them just sitting there looking around with their parents. And it's really, really cute.
That is pretty cute.
Yeah. And on the weekend, I went hiking and I saw 2 really adorable chipmunks.
Nice.
And they weren't afraid of me, and they came up and they were looking for food. And that was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And then earlier this week, I went to a vegan sanctuary and I saw a bunch of rescued sheep, goats, pigs, and cows, as well as the sparrows and other birds that were living in the barn with them. So that was great.
Interesting. Is a vegan sanctuary, are those animals that used to be, they'd planned to be slaughtered and then?
I guess some of them might have been bought from slaughtering situations, but the one we went to see specifically used to be used for animal testing. I don't really know.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's definitely been a wild week for me.
Cool. Very good. Do you have a favorite animal that you saw?
Probably the chipmunks, because they got so close to me and I was able to take good pictures. Either that or the prairie dogs, because I like seeing all the little babies popping their heads out.
Yeah. That's cool. And you live, I hope this doesn't count as doxing somehow, but you live pretty close to a bunch of prairie dogs, right?
Yeah, they're just down the road.
Okay, I guess we can probably move on to the news. Wildlife news.
Wildlife in the news.
Wildlife in the news, sorry. Would you like to start with a story?
Okay, so this is a story from March. It's a bit older.
Breaking
but
news from March.
I still think it's really interesting.
Yeah.
So it's about elephants. Elephants living in Japan. Did you know that there used to be elephants living in Japan?
No, I didn't. Well, I think I saw this article pop up, but I don't think I ever read it.
Well, so in Nagano, Japan, which is a central mountainous area, there is an archaeological dig underway, or it was underway in March anyway, to find fossils of the Nauman's elephant.
Nauman's elephant?
Yes. This elephant was around at the same time as the woolly mammoths, but it wasn't covered in thick hair.
Okay.
And it has only ever lived in Japan, and it's the largest creature to be endemic to Japan.
Oh, wow. How big was it?
Sort of big. Let me...
Like the size of an Asian elephant?
I think it's the same size as an Asian elephant, yeah.
Oh, that's pretty big.
Yeah, and so they were well suited to the mountainous and forested terrain of Japan since they evolved there.
Hmm.
At that time in Japan, I think there were also woolly mammoths, giant deer, and the point of this study is to see if humans and the Nauman's elephant coincided.
Okay.
Because,
How many years
yeah.
ago are we going back?
Well, the oldest fossil of the Nauman's elephant is about 330,000 years old, and it seems to have gone extinct 26,000 years ago.
Okay.
And I think they thought humans came to Japan maybe 24,000 years ago, but if they can find evidence that they were there at the same time, it will change a lot about what we understand about Japan at that time.
Right. Do they have any working theories about why they went extinct?
Well, they think right now that the elephants went extinct from climate change right before the Ice Age, or at the beginning of the Ice Age.
Okay.
But they're looking at this dig site where they found all these elephant fossils to see if it's actually a kill site, or looking for tools as well, because perhaps they didn't just die from climate change, they might have also died from being hunted by the first humans in Japan.
Wow.
But I just think that's so crazy because
Yeah,
you don't
I can't
think Japan
imagine
and
elephants
elephants
in Japan.
like, yeah. So I thought this bit from the article that I read was really interesting. Can I just read it out and quote it exactly?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So it says, the central government is pursuing a series of efforts to curtail Japan's emissions and preserve biodiversity. From pledging to attain carbon neutrality to saving the Japanese giant salamander, the fight against man-made climate change calls for a host of efforts informed by a comprehensive understanding of our planet. In this regard, the study of Nauman's elephant is relevant and valuable. Understanding why this elephant went extinct could potentially help us understand why animals go extinct and how they interact with climate change. The most important thing we can learn is about how humans can coexist. If we can learn about the extinction of Nauman's elephant, then we can learn how to prevent further extinctions and learn how to coexist with nature. So these are statements from the scientists behind this study.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it interesting because, I mean, maybe that's what the scientists believe, but I don't think that the government really cares that much about preserving biodiversity and coexisting with nature.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things there. I guess they mentioned the giant Japanese salamander, and government programs around their habitat seem to be pretty bad for the salamander.
Right. There isn't a lot of funding to study the salamander, and the government isn't stopping construction projects around the salamander's only habitat.
Yeah, there seems to be plenty of funding to build new roads and...
Yeah. So, yeah, Japan is really into like job security and keeping the man-made structures safe and good for everyone. It doesn't seem to me that they put as much effort into studying the ecology. I mean, maybe it's different because the elephants are already extinct and they love like natural history museums and stuff.
Yeah.
So it would be cool to learn more about it so that you can teach kids about the elephant. But I don't think that it's going to go towards coexisting with nature. I don't think that that's what this knowledge is for.
Yeah, because it sort of sounds like from what you read that there's an idea that if we can prove that this animal went extinct and that maybe climate or humans directly had an involvement with that, then somehow humans will do better for other species that are alive today. But I think that's a stretch.
Yeah. I think people who they either already know about climate change and are doing what they can to stop it, or they don't care, and learning about an elephant isn't going to change that, you know.
Yeah, especially when they're already extinct.
Yeah. But since you talked about rewilding or bringing back de-extincting, right?
De-extinction,
woolly mammoths. Yeah. Imagine if you could do that with this elephant and just set it loose in Japan.
That would be really interesting, yeah.
Or you could make a movie. You could make a movie like Godzilla versus the elephant.
Versus the elephants?
I would watch that, for real.
Yeah, I guess so. I feel like Godzilla is so many times bigger and more lethal than...
Well, the elephant can bring all its elephant friends.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, in some of those older Godzilla movies, they did some wild things. So maybe they could resurrect elephants to save Japan.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my first story. on the news.
Cool. Will I jump on one next?
Sure.
Or did you want to do both of yours? Or
No, you go.
sticking with a similar theme of paleontology. So recently in the UK, in Abingdon County Hall Museum, some new fossils were discovered. So they were just discovered in a drawer full of fossils, a few vertebrae. And it turns out that these vertebrae fossils are from a pliosaur from the Jurassic era. So, I mean, that in itself is interesting, that they just found this new species in a drawer somewhere and no one was really paying attention to it. But why this one in particular is interesting is actually due to how big it potentially could have been. So I was looking at sizes for other pliosaurs, I guess, trying to look at the biggest ones or the bigger-ish ones. So I was looking through some lists, and do you remember Leopleurodon? I don't know what I mean by do you remember? Do you remember when you saw that in real life?
Yeah, I'm really old. I don't know. I can't picture it, but
okay. Go
on.
It was in Walking with Dinosaurs, the TV series. I think the episode was called Cruel Seas. They vastly overestimated how big it was. They had it at like 80 feet or something crazy. In modern times, it's actually estimated that Leopleurodon could grow to about 6.6 meters or 22 feet. So it was not as big, but pretty big. Then there was also, what was considered to be the biggest one for a while was Kronosaurus Queenslandicus. Don't know if you've heard of that.
Nope.
No. Okay, so that was another big pliosaur. It could grow from 9 to 10.9 meters, so about 30 to 36 feet. So pretty big. But then we have, in 2009, we discovered, do you know what one we discovered? I made a video on it.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot. I don't know why I expected to know all this. And I'm reading from notes.
I didn't memorize it.
Yeah, no, that's when Predator X was found. So that was 10. Well, originally they thought it was like 15 meters, but with a lot of these things, when they go back and do further research, the size seems to go down a little bit. So it was about 10 to 12 meters in length. So that's about 33 to 39 feet. But this new one is bigger than all of them and is possibly the biggest one ever discovered, and could grow from 32 to 47 feet. So 9.8 to 14.4 meters. So almost 15 meters long. So I thought that was sort of crazy that they just found that like in a drawer.
But how do we know it's a different species and not just a bigger one of the ones we already have?
That's a good question. I'm not sure, actually. I presume from the few fossils that they do have, there's enough differences to tell that it's a different species.
Because we don't want this to be like that Triceratops debacle.
Yeah. Well, maybe it is, actually. In the article I read, I didn't really actually remember reading a good reason why it couldn't be. I mean, from where it was found, it couldn't be Kronosaurus because that's like Australian. But maybe it's similar to Predator X. Or Predator X, just bigger.
Marine creatures swim far.
But they migrate that far?
I don't know. I mean, blue whales go a lot of different places.
I guess so. I don't know.
But no, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
What did it eat?
Everything.
Everything?
No, I guess it ate smaller marine reptiles.
Okay.
Probably some fish as well. Yeah. And it's dated to be about 152 million years old. Late Jurassic.
That's pretty old.
Yep.
I can barely remember that far.
Yeah. Those pliosaurs aren't really your cup of tea, though. You prefer other marine reptiles.
Well, I like all marine reptiles. I mean, they just don't have a nice neck, you know? I'm into the necks.
Big, long necks. Yeah.
Yeah.
This unnamed new pliosaur would actually be longer than the longest plesiosaur that's on record.
Wow, even with those short little necks, how do they do it?
Just a big long body, I suppose.
And their jaw is
and
big.
Their huge jaws. Yeah, that's the other thing that's on like all the articles is like the buzz headline is a bite force greater than the T-Rex. But I think nearly all the ones I listed on my list there a minute ago had a bite force stronger than a T-Rex.
So you're saying that a plesiosaur would definitely destroy a T-Rex?
No, these are the pliosaurs. I think a T-Rex.
Sorry, a pliosaur.
Plesiosaur would have a much weaker jaw since it has a smaller head.
Did I say plesiosaur? That just shows like...
Yeah.
Yeah. A pliosaur could defeat a T-Rex in a fight?
Probably. I don't know. If the T-Rex was swimming around, but if it was like beached on some land...
A land war.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. Do you want to go on to...
Or tug of war. Here's the real way to measure it. Who could beat who in tug of war? If the pliosaur could swim and the T-Rex could walk, and they both grabbed the end of the rope in their mouth and walked like opposite directions, walked or swam opposite directions. That's the true measure of prehistoric supremacy.
Yeah, that should be the next Mesozoic documentary.
I would watch it.
People would watch it, yeah.
Okay, so should we move on to my next
sure,
news
go
story?
ahead.
All right. This one is a very light, happy story.
Okay.
Have you heard of Chonkosaurus?
No, even when it was in the notes, I thought you just made that up. I didn't think it was a real name.
No. It's
It sounds like an insult I'd use.
Chonkosaurus is a really big snapping turtle that's living on the Chicago River right now.
Wait, right now? It's not an extinct animal?
No. So
this is a pet name. This isn't what it's actually called.
Yeah. Chonkosaurus is one individual.
Okay.
So some ecologists, YouTuber people, were riding a boat on the Chicago River, and they saw this huge snapping turtle resting on a rusty chain protruding out of the water. And they're like, oh my gosh, Chonkosaurus. You should watch it. It's a video. It's a viral video.
Okay. How big was it, like, roughly?
Maybe around 40 pounds. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how...
Like, what would you compare it to? Like... Did you watch the video?
No, I watched the video, but it's hard to tell how big it is because there's no scale.
Okay. But what if it's like a tiny little yolk? Why...
No, it's not tiny. It's a 40-pound snapping turtle.
Okay.
It's huge. Just watch the video and watch them talk about Chonkosaurus. So, it's not just a cute little or a cute, huge turtle. There's wildlife information to be gathered from this. Probably since it's so big, it's a female who is full of eggs. And she was probably basking on the rusty chain to help her eggs develop. And she's not even as big as a snapping turtle can get. They can get up to 60 pounds. Wow. And they are very vicious. They have been known to kill and eat ducks. They also eat deer and raccoon carcasses.
They eat... Oh, okay. Carcasses.
Yeah.
Have they ever hunted a deer?
I'm not sure.
Maybe they're the true not deer.
Yeah. And so the interesting thing, besides this huge turtle going viral, is that the Chicago River used to be really gross. And after the 60s, I believe, with environmental laws, they started cleaning up the river. And now it's healthy enough for huge snapping turtles to thrive. So
that's good.
That's fun. Yeah. So please watch the video. Just look up Chonkosaurus.
Yeah. It is hard to describe
River.
how it looks like.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to use that as probably to describe when I eat too much dessert or something.
Yeah. Well, Chonkosaurus has a reason. Chonkosaurus is pregnant.
Yeah, you're even worse than Chonkosaurus. That's what I'll say to myself. Okay. We move on to one more?
Yeah.
Okay, this is just a quick story. So there was a woman in Colorado who recently purchased her first home, and at first everything seemed to be okay, except that one day one of her dogs found something odd in her garage, and there was a snake sliding into the wall. There was like a gap in her wall where she could see into it, and there was a snake sliding around. She also found many more snakes in her house and had to call a snake wrangler in, and so far they've removed 30 snakes from her house. That's cost over $1,000. Yeah.
What kind of snakes?
Well, actually, I was going to ask you. So earlier today, I was spamming random pictures of snakes at you without any context, if you remember.
Okay.
Do you want to...
I think I blocked it out.
Yeah. You blocked me.
What do you want me to say?
Do you want to guess?
You
You could probably recognize this snake.
not good at recognizing snakes, though.
But you love snakes.
No, I love snakes, but
I think it's a pretty common
it's like
snake.
a garter snake or something.
Yeah, I think that's what they said.
Oh, okay.
But they're...
Well, I am good at
Yeah, you are. I've only seen...
They're really cute.
Yeah.
They wouldn't hurt anyone.
Yeah, that's a good thing. They're not venomous, right? Or they're non-venomous snakes, right? Or not enough to harm a human.
Well, I'm not sure if they have venom or not, but they definitely couldn't harm a human.
Right, yeah. And they're sort of big. I've only seen like a couple of those kind of snakes, but the ones in the photos look a lot bigger than ones I've seen. But yeah.
Well, how come she didn't just keep them?
Yeah, see, this is why I wanted to show the story to you. Because I think a lot of people, including her, are pretty freaked out about having snakes. Like she says they like slither around the floor and she's too afraid to go to sleep or use the bathroom and stuff.
Well, I think what it would indicate is she has a serious mouse problem.
Maybe. They said that might have had like a snake nest, is that the right word? A snake den under the house.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess they must be feeding on something.
Yeah, she should be happy that they're there, keeping her away from the mice.
It's a lot of snakes though, like 30 snakes.
I don't know. Maybe this could be the sequel to Snakes on a Plane.
Snakes
under the house. Yeah.
Yeah. So would you be happy if this happened to you?
Well, it's like, I don't really like things hiding out in dark crevices in a home because it's sort of gross. It feels like then you wouldn't think your house was clean.
Yeah.
Or there might be structural damage or something. So I'm not going to say I'd be, happy, excited, but I wouldn't be upset.
I think I'd be a bit upset.
I would be more interested. Yeah, like I guess you should remove them because you don't know what they're getting up to in there.
Yeah.
But I think you should clear up, or you should close up the hole that they were entering through for sure.
Yeah, but I think they were like coming up through underneath the house and going into different crevices and different walls. I don't think it was just one.
Yeah, you don't want crevices in your walls. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's difficult to seal all that stuff off.
Because like in my house right now, there are so many moths.
Okay.
And that's what happens if you have crevices in your walls, okay? Things can get in and then they can't get out. So
yep.
Just because you like snake, or even if you like snakes.
Bunch of birds got into my house.
Yeah, you don't want crevices in your walls, so fix that.
Yeah. I hope you don't mind me mentioning, but a little bit before we did this, you sent me a video of, I think it was in Malaysia, right?
Oh yeah, because the video of the snakes in the house reminded me of the snakes in Malaysia.
So this video, I'm going to put a link to this. The ceiling collapses and these, 3 gigantic pythons fall down. Mm-hmm. And you were like, oh, I think it's really nice. Or really cool or something.
Well, it like destroys the room. The ceiling falls in.
These gigantic, and these are proper big snakes come in. And all the news reporters were like saying how they wanted to burn their TVs and stuff.
Burn down the whole country, leave to a different continent,
Yeah. What were they doing in there?
They were mating.
All 3 of them?
Well, I don't know. Something was going on. It was mating season. It was mating season. Yeah, but would those pythons hurt me? I don't think so.
I don't know. I feel like if a snake isn't venomous, it's not as dangerous, or the danger level is way less.
Are pythons not venomous? I always forget.
Well,
but
they're only killed by constricting.
Maybe. But the thing is, like, again, the thing that scares me is the dilapidation of the house, not the snakes. Yeah. Like, what if you're just sleeping in your bed and then the ceiling collapses on you and a bunch of snakes are on you? Like, yeah, that's the scary part to me.
Yeah.
Because I can't even sleep now because there are so many moths. Ugh. And I like turn on the light in other rooms and I keep my room as dark as possible.
Oh, that's a dirty tactic.
Until I notice all the moths are gone, or I think they are. And then I close my window, I close everything, and like...
So it's someone else.
Shut it down. No, they go, like, I don't know, in the hallway or something. But, yeah, but then I couldn't get one out of my room last night, and it settled right next to my pillow, and I was so upset. Because a moth is way less scary in some ways than a huge snake, but I didn't want it to land on me in my sleep, so, yeah.
Yeah. It's the other thing as well as with insects is that, like, they just multiply so fast. And they're all over the place.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, 3 pythons is, I guess, a lot for That's a lot of pythons to have in your house. But I presume when they got them out, there wasn't too many more.
Well, unless they laid eggs somewhere you couldn't find them.
Well,
that can be the sequel to Snakes Under Your House. Snakes in your ceiling. Pythons in your ceiling.
Yeah. Don't really know what the plot is, but sure.
Doesn't need a plot.
It doesn't.
The special effects are so amazing.
There's a montage of snakes falling through the ceiling and landing on people.
Well, yeah, like, I mean...
with a really inappropriate
people always
soundtrack.
say this about action movies. Action movies don't need a plot. They just need, like, the hero who you like, and some car crashes, and, like, a beautiful woman or something. I don't know. That's what action movies are.
Well, yeah, even
our movie genre could be...
animal attack movies usually don't have a very...
yeah, there doesn't need to be a plot.
Yeah.
Just have a bunch of animals falling out of the ceiling, and a beautiful woman, and an action star. The beautiful woman could be the action star. Who knows?
Okay. And she has to fight the snakes?
No! She has to save the snakes.
From what?
From the mean people who are trying to kill them because they were in their ceiling.
So the snakes
She's
fall
like a Steve Irwin type.
The snakes fall through the ceiling and land on someone.
Uh-huh.
And then she breaks into their house and beats them up.
I'm here to protect the snakes. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like the Lorax. I speak for the trees, but I speak for the snakes.
Yeah, she's a parcel mouth or whatever it's called. Don't know what it's called?
Yeah. I know that is what it's called. Oh. So, but I don't really think that's what a parcel mouth does.
Yeah. Okay, should we move on?
To Wild Chat, our next segment?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll ask you a question today that I've been thinking about.
Okay.
So, there's a new Spider-Verse movie coming out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that got me thinking, the age-old question, what radioactive or modified animal would you want to bite you, and what powers would you get?
I was thinking about this a little bit, and at first I was kind of thinking of like some insect, because they always have like, relative to their size, like superpowers almost. They're like really fast or really strong.
Yeah, you could be an ant and be very obedient.
Yeah.
Well, Ant-Man already exists, and I wouldn't say that's his superpower,
true.
But...
he doesn't seem that obedient.
No, because he's in charge of the other ants.
He's the queen?
He's more like, I guess, because otherwise how else can he make them do what he wants them to do? It's very confusing.
Yeah. But then I was looking into a few more animals, and I think I've decided on a salamander.
Okay.
So here are my
Why?
Here are my reasons. One, so salamanders, relative to their size, are also really strong.
I've never seen a salamander lift anything.
Yeah, but what does an ant lift? Like a tiny leaf? Well done.
Well, how does a salamander even lift stuff? I've never even seen a salamander with anything in its mouth.
I don't know. Well, it must be with its mouth. That's how ants lift stuff, right?
I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't think a salamander is the pinnacle of strength.
Okay, but
go on.
I wish I wrote this down, but it was more because what I've heard is that an ant can lift 50 times its own body weight. Mm-hmm. But whatever salamander I was looking up could do, it was more than that. I think it was like 80 times or maybe even closer to 100.
Okay.
Okay.
So you want to be very strong.
Well, might as well throw that into the mix. The second reason is that they can grow back certain limbs, but also some organs as well they can grow back.
Mm-hmm.
So that could help a lot if I ever get sick or something.
Right? Yeah.
And then the third reason, that's probably my favorite one, is that I'd be able to breathe underwater.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so I wouldn't even have to try and learn to scuba dive.
The thing about that is, don't you think you might get exploited by the medical community?
I wouldn't tell anyone. Well,
they're going to tie you up and start harvesting you for organs. Yeah.
Oh, the organ thing. I would.
Or maybe you want that. You want to help people and give them all your organs and just grow them back.
Oh, yeah. But how many I don't want to go under surgery every day. Like, oh, we need more kidneys.
Yeah, and but that's cool because you could have a water form and a land form, and you could like shift between them, like a mermaid. Well, not like a mermaid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many traits
like something
you have to take on with this question. Like, I just want basically what I listed and nothing else.
But you don't want cool colors? You don't want to secrete poison from your skin?
Oh, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. That's too dangerous.
You don't? No, that's fun.
What if I accidentally
That's a really great power.
secrete all over the place and kill someone?
Okay, well, Spider-Man secretes in a specified way. He can control, once he learns, he can control
So I shoot it
where
from like
his
my
webs
wrist or
go.
something?
Yeah, you could shoot your poison from your wrist.
Would I really need that though? Because I'd be so strong. Just put... Sorry, I don't want to devolve into violence. I guess if I needed to secretly like squirt poison into someone's drink or something, but
Yeah.
I don't really...
What else could you do?
My plan wasn't to like assassinate people or anything.
Okay.
Let me put the question back on you. If you could be bitten by a radioactive animal and gain its powers, what would you choose?
Okay, so I was trying to think of something that's really good at both swimming and flying, because those are the two things I would like to be able to do. So I decided something like a water bird.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't decide between some of my options, such as the northern gannet, the murre, some ducks, geese, loons, pelicans, or
Careful.
gulls.
They
all
might be eaten by a snapping turtle.
That's true. Yeah, but I mean, they all pretty much have what I want, which is flying and swimming. And what other powers could I get? Like,
it's all
if
above
I was
surface
a duck,
swimming, though, mostly, isn't it?
no, they dive. I chose animals that are really good at diving
okay.
and staying underwater for a while. So if I were to turn into duck woman or loon lady or something, I think I would also have really good colors, like really colorful hair, and be very beautiful. I don't particularly like pelican woman because I don't want a huge mouth. It's
cool.
just not. But pelicans are really cool because they can dive and swim well, but they can also fly really long distances, and they're really good at gliding on the thermals, which is the kind of flying I'd be into. I'm not into like fast beating duck flying, for example, as much.
Ducks just move too
so
fast.
So it's a trade-off. Maybe they could all bite me, and I could get a crazy mix of various water bird traits.
Interesting.
Oh, and if I was bitten by a gull, maybe I could have a strong stomach and I can just eat anything. That's got to come in handy.
Yeah. This is a rough day where you're getting bitten by all these like birds that are swooping down and attacking you.
I mean, I feel rough for a day, but the next day...
You can eat anything.
I show up to my high school because that's how well, I guess not all superheroes
You can beat up the high school bully.
But yeah, I start realizing my powers are so crazy and it's awesome. I would probably be really good at dancing because birds are so good at dancing. I would have a very melodious voice. I just think it would be great. Yeah, my main features would be being able to hold my breath for a really long time, navigate and dive underwater, as well as being able to manipulate air currents and fly and navigate long distances in the air as well. Plus the beautiful colors, flashiness, dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
And I would probably be friends with Aquaman.
Okay. So Aquaman exists in this scenario?
Oh, I don't know. But we would have a lot in common, I think.
Fair enough. Did Jason Momoa Aquaman?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we'll have to ask Jason Momoa what he thinks.
Yeah.
If we can ever get him as a guest.
Yeah, if you're listening and you know Jason Momoa, this is a bit of a long shot.
Please tell him that we were talking about him today.
Yeah, they don't have to come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you have a question you were going to ask me?
Yeah, my question's a bit dumb. But when I thought of it, it made me laugh. So I'm going to ask it anyway. So have you seen the movie Air Bud?
No, but I know about them.
Right. So Air Bud is a movie, for people who don't know, where a dog joins a basketball team and is really good at basketball. And there's also that great scene where the opposing team is like, how can they have a dog on their team? That's not fair. That's not right. And the referee takes out the rule book and is like, well, there's no rule that says they can't have a dog on their team. Which really opens the door for so many things. But
yeah.
A few days ago, I asked you if you could be pretty good at a team sport that you'd like to play, which one would you choose? And you chose water polo, right?
Yeah.
So my question is, so imagine this. You're about to play the water polo championships, whatever they are. But unfortunately, one of your team members drowned. So
it looks to be the worst water polo team ever. But okay.
Oh, well, it's about to get better because you can choose one animal to airbud into your team to help you win. What animal would you choose and why?
A mosquito.
A mosquito?
No, just kidding. No, that's just a joke. Let me think. Probably a dolphin. I feel like that's just a really good answer because dolphins have no trouble swimming.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very smart, and it could definitely learn the rules, and it can leap out of the air and hit the ball. So
yeah, I guess the dolphin is
leap out of the water and hit the ball.
Is the best answer.
And dolphins can be really violent, so
Yeah.
the dolphin could swim over to the other side and start drowning the other team. I
Get
don't know
revenge
if that's
for your
against the rules or
teammates.
not.
Maybe that's what happened to the person
But-
on your team. Did they drown by accident or were they drowned?
Good question.
Yeah.
They were drowned by a pliosaur.
Yeah.
Okay, you answer the question. First of all, what team sport are you going to choose?
So at first I was gonna just say like relay running because I like running, but then like what's the obvious answer to that?
Cheetah.
Yeah, cheetah.
Peregrine falcon.
But then I was thinking, just for fun, what if instead I chose rugby, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And my teammate would be an African elephant. Throw the ball to them, and then you've won. There's no way anyone's gonna be able to tackle him down.
Yeah, but what if the elephant can't catch very well? Maybe that'll be the downfall.
No. In Air Bud, the dog was really good at basketball. So whatever scenario, the animal's really good at it.
Shouldn't you choose like a rhino though? I feel like that might even be better.
I mean,
I guess a rhino and an elephant or a hippo, they're all good options.
yeah, I mean, any one of them running towards you, like, who's gonna try and tackle that?
Yeah. What about a lion?
I feel like enough rugby players could probably tackle a lion, though.
Really? You think a rugby team could destroy a lion? I don't know.
An entire team? Probably.
We
I mean, there's
see
only
this
one
in a
way to
reality
find
TV
out.
show.
But... Sorry, what did you say?
We need this to be the new reality TV show.
Yeah.
Rugby teams versus different animals.
Not a very high survival rate.
Yeah. We'll get shut down really quickly.
Yeah. Fun while it lasts.
For who?
For the people watching at home.
Sort of like Squid Game. Like, I don't know. I was really hopeful when Squid Game came out that it would have an element of a squid.
Yeah. The last thing should be fight a giant squid.
So you could like do a spin-off of Squid Game. It's Deadly Games, except there are real animals involved.
Yeah, that could be a fun show.
That's pretty much,
like, not real.
I mean, that's just the gladiators.
Yeah, pretty much. But you just modernize it a little bit and have like to be won a swimming race, and after like 30 seconds, a crocodile gets put into the pool or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So the gladiators fought off like lions, other deadly animals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they also sometimes flooded the Colosseum to have naval battles.
Yeah, which is...
Did they ever have... Huh?
No, I was going to say, which is still really impressive to think that they were able to do that.
Oh, yeah, I know. But did they ever have people fighting gladiator type battles in the flooded Colosseum against water creatures?
I don't know. I feel like I've read that they had crocodiles in the Colosseum, but I don't know if that was just like in water or they just threw them in on dry land.
Because what I'd like to see is if they already have the technology to have a naval battle, flood it, add in a huge squid or, a shark or something and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that could be part of it, our show about rugby teams. It's very confusing.
Maybe that can be like one of the last challenges is try and tackle this African elephant. And if not, you get shot.
Wait, but what about the water part?
The water part is the first one. That's the easy one.
That's not easy.
You have a 30-second head start.
Well, anyway, so you would choose an elephant for your rugby team.
I think so. The key, though, is that I'd have to get the ball to him straight away and then just disengage.
I guess I don't really understand the rules of rugby. I feel like, yeah. But also, the elephant has to be able to wear your uniform.
We'd make a custom one. Certainly the MVP.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Will we move on to our next segment?
Yeah. Cryptid Court.
Cryptid Court. Do you want to explain what it is? The Cryptid Court, I mean. Or how it works?
Oh, Cryptid Court. Well, two people talk about cryptids, one cryptid, and we put it on trial. One person explains why it could be real, and the other person explains why that's a silly idea. Am I for it or against it today?
Oh, I thought we were... Well, I made all my arguments for, so...
Oh, well, okay then.
Did you make your...
I didn't prepare any arguments.
Okay.
It's off the cuff.
All right.
So, yeah. I did learn about the natural environment. Lake Tianchi.
Yeah, so we're doing the Lake Tianchi monster.
Yeah. It's a lake on the border of North Korea and China, which that's a pretty... I mean, if any place is unstudied, that's one, right?
Yeah.
Which already is interesting. And I couldn't understand what it's even supposed to look like is the thing. It's so vague. It's just like something swimming around. Maybe there's multiple of them. Sometimes they have a human head. I don't know. The lake is a volcanic caldera. So.
And what does that mean?
It's a crater from a volcanic eruption. The volcano in question is Pakdu Mountain. Or I was looking up how to pronounce Korean words, and I think I just forgot. Pakdu.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Oh, never mind. I thought I looked up how to say the lake's name in Korean, but I guess.
Oh, Chunji.
Chunji. Okay.
Yeah, it's Chunji in Korean and Tianchi in Chinese. Tianchi.
And sometimes translated to Heaven's Lake.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So. I guess just a few other facts I wanted to say about the lake really quickly. The average depth is about 204 meters or 669 feet, and its deepest part is 373 meters or 1,223 feet. So there's a few hurdles to get over from my side, which is because the lake is so high up. It's 2,000 meters high, or over 7,000 feet. And where it is, 8 months of the year, the area is covered in snow and ice. And the average temperature is between 1 and 11 degrees Celsius, which is 30 to 50 Fahrenheit, I think.
The whole year?
8 months of the year.
Oh, you said the average temperature. That's the
the average temperature throughout the year, sorry.
Oh.
Wow. So not a place you'd imagine life would thrive. China's global television network stated no animal can survive here. However, I guess I'll start by just a few of the sightings. I've read that this goes back hundreds and hundreds of years, but maybe they're not translated into English, or I don't know. There's not many sources on this one. But one of the earlier ones is from 1903, where the creature apparently attacked people, but it was shot and then returned to the lake. In 1962, 2 creatures were seen in the water, and there was nearly 100 witnesses. Okay? What are you laughing at?
Well, were you able to interview any of these witnesses?
From the 1960s? No.
Okay.
Maybe they'll come on the podcast. In July of 2002, there are also many other witnesses of the creature. And someone from the local tourism office even saw one. I think his name was Zhu Xunlin. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, which I probably am. And he said the monster came 10 meters from the shore and it jumped out of the water like a seal. So remember that. And I have a few more things I want to say, but do you want to jump in on any skepticism?
So you're getting these sources from Chinese state TV?
Yeah, some of them are. But
it's interesting because...
But to be fair, most of the reporting that's done around that area is from government-controlled news organizations, so it's not...
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's hard. This isn't even for or against the existence of this monster. It's just more how much can we really trust? Because there's only one source. I don't know.
One of my sources is a Japanese newspaper.
Okay.
From someone from North Korea that's going to come up.
It's just, it's hard to prove or disprove something that is so closed off, you know?
Yeah. But tourists can visit there, though.
Yeah. So what else do I have to say about this? I guess it's weird that it's so cold. And so far you haven't really given me a description of this creature other than it jumped out like a seal. Because I read that they stock the lake with fish. There's one particular kind of fish that it's doing well there called the Tianchi trout.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw one thing that said maybe the sightings are mutated or just weird images of the fish.
Right.
Because in mountain lakes like that, things just don't survive. they have to be regularly restocked with fish for the sport fishermen. And it just doesn't,
But
like,
if
again, no one's telling me what this creature is supposed to be. So how am I supposed to make a conclusion? Like, if they're saying, oh, it's a fish, then yeah, sure, it's a fish.
Well, I think some people have, like on cryptid forums, they say that it's a large pinniped. So sort of like a large seal-looking creature.
Okay, one seal or multiple seals, right? Because they've said that there are multiples.
Yeah.
I guess I could see seal because I did see something that said it had a human head, and that's what everyone says about manatees.
Yeah, and even mermaid sightings.
I guess manatees aren't seals, but like just the idea that people confuse a mammal in the water with a human head swimming creature is very frequent.
Mm-hmm. So that's the thing. It does seem like there is, for the statement that no animal could survive there, that there is something living there.
But the fish probably die every winter.
Do they, though?
Well, maybe not, but yeah, I guess it's weird that the government said no animal can survive there because fish can survive winters and stuff. So
yeah, because
it's interesting. Maybe they're trying to hide it. It's hard to say. But if they're trying to hide it, though, they wouldn't be publishing on their news the information about it. So it's really I prefer when I'm evaluating a source to imagine what their goal is, and here I'm just perplexed as to what they're trying to do. Like, if it's real and they're trying to hide it, they're not doing a good job. And if it's not real, but they're trying to act like it is, they're still not really doing a good job. So.
All right. This has sort of gone in a direction I didn't think it would go in.
What do you want me to say?
No, you can say whatever. I'm just picking up the pieces. I guess I'm just going to plow ahead a little bit and say that we're kind of talking as if something definitely was seen there.
I didn't say that. I said I can't trust this source very much.
Okay. But in September of 2007, a reporter, I hope I can say this name right, Sho Yong-shun, he went to the lake at sunrise because he wanted to try and record the sunrise over the lake, but it was cloudy, so he couldn't do that. But he saw something even better. He had a sighting, and he had a camera with him. Now, even though it was a video camera, we don't have the video, but...
And why not? Where is it?
I don't know. I just can't find it anywhere. But there are stills online of it, and you can see multiple like dark objects, and like they're really far away because they're on like the slopes of a mountain. But you can see dark objects, and you can see like the ripples, like that V shape behind them. So it looks like there's something moving through the water, or some things.
Are people allowed to swim in the lake?
I don't know. I imagine it's pretty cold.
Well, yeah, but you can wear a wetsuit.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's some information I need, if people could swim in it, all the kinds of fish that they use to stock the lake.
Yeah, well, I guess we could jump ahead. I read it was a researcher from North Korea who gave an interview to a Japanese newspaper. And in the 1960s, they stocked the lake with the trout, and there's two other fish. Carp and mosquito eaters, I think. And they found that they were able to survive in the lake. And I think it was because they were able to feed off insects or, I don't know, small animals getting blown into the lake by the wind.
Right, but I'm saying, what if this footage is just some fish?
But would fish go up to the surface and swim like...
If they're eating insects, they would.
In a straight line for like 10 minutes?
I don't know.
I mean, maybe they're like a unique species or have become a unique species of fish. Like the Tianchi trout or whatever, but maybe there's some kind of seal.
Yeah. So what was the seal eating before they stocked it with fish? Or did it come in after they started stocking it?
Well, I'd imagine that there were already fish in the lake. Because if those other ones could survive, what would stop previous fish from being in the lake and being able to survive?
Well, it's not a lake that's fed by a river. How would the fish even get there? That's a common characteristic of these mountainous lakes, is that they're from sort of an isolated... They're in a crater. So the water started gathering from rain, not from a river feeding it. And they usually have to be stocked. Like, I don't see why there would be fish there. Well, yeah, why would there be fish there?
Well, how do we know that there wasn't a river feeding it? Like, this lake is supposedly 12 million years old.
Because it's on the top of a mountain. How the river would have to come from somewhere carrying fish.
Okay, but what about Lake Baikal? That's like, how high up is that? Lake Baikal?
Is it on a mountain or is it on a plain though?
Well, I guess it's not on a mountain, but it's 450 meters above sea level.
I just don't understand the logistics of this, how it would stock itself with fish, given it was created by a volcanic crater, and the fish would have to swim upstream from wherever this... I mean, do we even know, does it empty out from a river?
Yeah, it does. There's a waterfall that empties out of it.
So the fish would have to swim upstream from this waterfall from wherever, like a really long way, I presume, and then live in this super cold lake. And then there have to be enough of them doing that to create a population for this seal to discover it. The seal that is for some reason in the mountains. And then the seal's like, oh yeah, here's what I've been looking for these multiple days hiking over the mountains with no food. Finally. I don't know.
So within the last few million years, is it not possible that there could have been a river connected to this lake, like even after its formation?
I just don't, I can't picture that. Maybe, I guess. I'm not a geography expert or a geology expert. It just seems fishy. Fishy to me.
Yeah, I guess a bit on the back foot here now. I don't know.
I thought you prepared notes.
I do. I'm looking at my
And I didn't prepare anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess there's also, but people say this about like every lake monster, that there's like underground tunnels that lead to other bodies of water. I mean, I guess it is a pretty deep lake, and I don't think it's been surveyed, but I don't know. I was sort of thinking perhaps there could have been some kind of river or other body of water that was connected to it. You know, the way like Lake Baikal and the Caspian Sea are both landlocked, but they have like an abundance of different life, unique life, especially like Lake Baikal. Yeah,
well, isn't that because, wouldn't that have to do with tectonic plates, and the whole area used to be underwater, and then the Earth's crust rose, isolating that bit of water.
Yeah, I think Lake Baikal is like right on.
Or is that not true?
Right on like a fault line, and that's why it's so deep, because it's being like...
Okay, so wasn't it covered in water before? The whole surroundings were covered in water, and it was essentially like part of the ocean, and then it got cut off, versus a mountain erupting, creating a crater, totally isolated. I don't know.
All right.
Are you giving
I'm going
up?
to shift gears very quickly and say, well, I mean, I guess there's two angles I can go from here. So I guess the first one would be, this is sort of the more out there one. Could they have, for some reason, put seals in to see if they could survive?
Oh, I could totally see that. Like, if they're already going to put in fish. This is what I'm saying. What I want to know, more than is it real, is what's the angle that the state media is trying to play here? Why are they allowed...
There's not that many sources on it, so it feels like they barely care that much.
Well, I know, but how easy is it for a Japanese publication to get an interview with a North Korean citizen? How, much effort, does someone have to approve these things that are being put out of the video from this region and, the government statement about what can and can't survive in that lake? I mean, is there an angle that they're trying to put forth? Could that explain? Is there some conspiracy thing with the seal that they're stalking? Or, I don't know, is it just a weird blip and there's not really anything at all?
Yeah.
I'm just curious about the angle of the media rather than... I guess I want to know what's going on, but...
It's also difficult.
I want to get down to...
There's two different governments involved, basically.
Right. But they're basically going to say the same thing.
Yeah, maybe, but I could imagine one doing something without telling the other as well.
Right, so North Korea suddenly got its hands on a seal.
Well, they're the ones that put the trout in, right? And the fish. They did all the fish
did
stuff.
They? I'm not sure.
It was... Well, that's what I read from the interview.
But yeah, it's interesting. I think thinking of it from a government sort of conspiracy, more cover-up angle is way more interesting than trying to imagine a seal somehow getting naturally into this lake that has naturally stocked itself with fish.
Yeah, I can see that. I guess it's just because it doesn't sound like a regular seal. It sounds like sort of bigger and stuff. I was going to be like, try and take an angle that, well, if it was there for millions of years, it might be unique. Like that's the other thing. It's freshwater. So there are like the Lake Baikal seals are freshwater, but most seals are marine mammals.
Yeah.
But then
maybe they took some seals from Lake Baikal and just plopped them in the lake.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Or then the other thing is, like you're saying about the fish, like where do you draw sort of the line? It's sort of like how some people say that maybe Nessie is a big eel. It's like, well, there are eels in Loch Ness, so how big before it can be classified as the monster?
Well, that's what I said. I said, how do you know it's not just the fish?
Well, if it is the fish, does that count?
Well, Well, that's a philosophical question of what you're looking for when you're looking for a cryptid.
Yeah, but there are...
Like, are you trying to prove that the sightings are legitimate, or are you trying to prove that what people believe is real is real? Because you could either say none of the sightings are real, it's all made up or imagined, it's all false. Or you could
There's
say,
also photos,
oh, the sighting, they really saw something. They really took a picture of something, but it's just fish. Or you could say, they really saw something, no one believes them, but it's actually a seal, you know? It's like different layers of what are you looking for here?
But what I'm trying to say is, if it is a fish and it's this trout that has adapted particularly to this lake, and I guess it must be larger than average, like what does it have to do to qualify?
That's what I'm saying. It's a philosophical question for the people interested in this particular cryptid. Would they be happy if it turned out it was just a big trout? I don't know.
Okay.
Or are they always going, if it's someone says it's the trout, are they always going to be looking for the evidence that it wasn't and that it's actually, you know, what they think it is, which is a seal or something else?
Yeah. Don't really know where to go from. I read a book by this cryptozoologist once where he investigated a pond monster that was eating pigeons, and it turned out it was a big catfish that lived in the pond. So, like, did he prove the monster was real, or did he...
He got to the bottom of the rumors and the sightings, and he didn't prove the monster was real, but he legitimized the sightings and explained them.
Okay, so slight issues there, but I was just saying it's sort of tricky because I don't know, because at the end of the day, if a cryptid is discovered, then it would be an animal that we just know. So if there's an unknown fish, but can a subspecies be a cryptid?
I don't know. You're the one who's supposed to know about cryptids. I'm telling you it's a philosophical issue of your own belief as someone who's looking for these creatures. What you will be satisfied with, what the average, believer will be satisfied with. And that's not an answer that I can answer. That's not something I can answer because everyone will have a different opinion.
Yeah. This debate has gone a bit derailed though.
But I do really like the angle. I hadn't even considered that some government had just put the seal in there as a little experiment, because we know that like Russia, North Korea, and China, I mean, lots of governments, but they have done a lot of things just out of curiosity biologically. And those are really isolated regions, and they're really cold, and
they've already admitted to putting other animals in there, so...
Well, that's not as weird, because it's very normal practice to stock mountain lakes with fish for sport fishing.
Okay.
I mean, just today I saw...
But it didn't seem to be for sport fishing, though. I think it was more just for research.
Oh, well, still. Like, I know that Russia, for example, does a lot of sketchy things. I just saw this thing today, and I'm not sure how real it is, but it was like, this is really upsetting. Trigger warning about animal abuse. But, like, they grafted 2 dogs together to see what would happen.
What?
Yeah. So they do stuff like that. And Russia and North Korea and China, they're all like friends basically, or they have been. And yeah, I wouldn't put it past them to be like, we have this seal from Lake Baikal, let's see what happens.
And if there was a seal there, would would that mean the Tianchi monster was real?
I guess.
Okay. You're supposed to be arguing against.
Oh, but no, I just thought that was interesting. But you already heard my argument that it's very unlikely that...
You went... Sorry, go ahead.
It's very unlikely that it stocked itself with fish or seals, and it's not the same as Lake Baikal, and how can an animal even survive? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've said it. I've said what I think.
Yeah, I think you made a lot of good points. I think the only angle I can take is that maybe there was some government intervention that caused the sightings.
Yep. Or the people are all, maybe they're just seeing things, or they're all paid off, or maybe they're not even real.
You're dropping some bombs here. What?
I'm just saying, like, we don't know these 100 witnesses.
But there are photos as well. There's photos of something.
Well, I haven't seen any good photos. I haven't seen anything good that was at all convincing.
If the photos are real, I guess it's easy to fake photos.
Yeah.
All right. I think we spent a long time debating the philosophy of this.
Yeah. So should we move on to Q&A? Because we have no questions today.
We have no questions. That's okay. If you're listening and you'd like to send a question for next time, or just a comment, or something random you want to say to us, where can they send it to?
You can send it to our email address, thewildworldpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, that's thewildworldpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
should we finish off with some responses to comments on your channel?
Sure.
As usual, or as last time, please guess what video it's from, and then tell me your response.
Okay. I hope these aren't hard questions.
All right. Here's the first one. Listened to about 10 seconds and couldn't listen to any more. The guy talking might as well be mumbling. Why the hell is he talking so slow?
You sure can't pick them. Is that great whites in aquariums?
Yes, that's correct. There were a lot of comments to this vein. I might include them in the future. It's just there are so many that are so funny, so I want to keep going, you know?
Yeah, they've made me laugh as well, actually. Should I give a quick response
Explain
or apology?
Yourself.
To give a YouTuber apology. So as many of you know, I sounded extra monotone and sleepy in that video. The reason was, I mean, there's no good excuse, but the reason was I was moving. What are you laughing at?
I don't know. It's just because you sound so sad about it. You're like, this is unexcusable. Anyway, go on.
So I was moving out of my apartment at the time, and I had to like get rid of a load of stuff and clean up and have it ready for the morning. So I was awake literally all night doing that, and most of the next day. And then I went to a hotel and slept for 2 hours, and then I woke up and recorded the audio anyway, because I was trying to get a bunch of shark videos done for Shark Week. And also I was sort of sad when I was reading out the stuff because a lot of sharks died. But yeah, that's why I sounded extra monotone and sleepy. I'm sorry.
Well, why the hell were you talking so slow? That's what this person wanted to know.
I don't know, maybe
sad?
I just talk a bit slow. Because I was sad and sleepy, I suppose.
All right. Yeah, please leave a comment for if you accept his apology. And if you don't, that's your prerogative, and you can leave more comments criticizing his voice. I look forward to either one.
All right.
Second, I only have 2 comments I wanted to read out today. Second one is, I know you know this one, but anyway. You might have actually even mentioned it in a video, but I didn't check. I'll just say it anyway. How can a bird be a dinosaur when the term dinosaur means land lizard? A bird isn't a lizard.
Yeah, I did mention this in the video.
Yeah.
Wait, this comment was... Can I... No, I won't. I won't say.
Do you know what video this is from?
Jurassic Park something?
Yes, 5 things Jurassic Park gets right.
Okay. Yeah, a dinosaur doesn't mean land lizard. I think it means terrible lizard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. This comment was sort of strange. And I replied to it, and then they replied again, and I was sort of more confused.
Well.
I don't know. Do you have any take on that?
They seem to think that you're peddling lies to your viewers. That you're trying to say things about birds and dinosaurs, and that you're lying for some nefarious purpose. Is that true?
No, I don't have any agenda here.
No agenda. Okay.
I don't think. I mean, if you look at certain dinosaurs and then look at certain birds, it's very, very clear that they're very, very similar.
Yeah, that's how I feel every time I look at a Diplodocus and a robin. Oh boy, yeah. They're so similar.
You know, I don't know if I should even go into this, but I've seen videos where people go, oh, people think dinosaurs are birds, and they did just what like you do. They hold up like a toy, some sauropod, like a Diplodocus, I guess, and they hold up like a toy pigeon, and they're like, really? These are both dinosaurs, are they? But if you hold up a toy Diplodocus and you hold up like a velociraptor, they're both dinosaurs, and look how different they look.
Yeah. And so it's easier just to not believe in any dinosaurs.
A velociraptor and a crow or something.
Yeah.
They're going to look a lot more similar than the Diplodocus and a velociraptor.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay. Well, thank you for answering.
Yep.
Those are the comments for today.
Yeah, thanks for commenting on things.
Yeah, leave more comments.
Yeah. We didn't mention this for Cryptid Court, but thank you for all the votes. We got like 1,200 votes for that. So thanks. I'm going to be putting up a new poll soon, so you can vote on the next cryptid as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess we're pretty much at the end of the podcast.
Yep.
Is there anything you'd like to say to finish off?
This is fun. Someone said that I have an upbeat personality, so thanks. I try. I'll
Yeah,
try
that's not the
to
full
pull
comment,
Wild
though.
World out of his, monotonous mumbling stupor.
Yeah. I did. Yeah. Good point, whoever commented that. I can't remember your name now, but I do agree. I guess I'd just like to say thank you for listening or watching. And if you feel like it, you could give the video a like, share it around, share the podcast, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies.
Tell Jason Momoa.
Tell Jason Momoa, most importantly of all.
Tweet at him.
And spam Jason Momoa.
Please.
Just ask him, do you like animals, with no other context. Okay, but I guess that's the end. Thank you again for listening. See you next week.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Okay.